Here's the sign guidelines. You want one?
No.
Anybody want one? You want one? There's a whole bunch of, this is old, but it's. Is that the? I didn't even know we had a separate one. I didn't even realize we had a separate document. It may actually be that old, Mike. Yes, it does predate me. This looks like Mike Giffords' work. Projecting signs. Blah, 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 blah.
What he's asking for is probably like not even a third of what
Right.
was up there the last
Right.
time, you know?
There wasn't out over the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's.
This is 8 feet above the sidewalk, so pretty high.
So the question is, can you, you're not, the footprint of a building is whatever goes down on the wall.
If you refer to page 5 of the signs and look at second paragraph where it says note, any sign parallel or right angle that will project 12 inches or more over a public right of way must obtain the approval of the building inspector of the town of New Shoreham. So that being
So
said,
this is projecting 22 inches, so you have. to get-
28 actually.
Yeah, you have to get approval. I mean, if we give you approval, you still have to have approval from the building official.
Okay, how do I go about that?
You go to see the building official.
Okay.
He's here on Wednesdays.
So can we approve the sign tonight to help them out or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prove it contingent upon building.
right.
Great, thank
Yeah.
you, because it already got hung.
I'll put forth a motion to approve the sign pending approval from the building official.
Second.
All in favor?
Well,
Aye.
On plat 6, lot 98.
Yeah,
Right.
who's got something on?
Oh, we're hearing the delay.
Why is that happening?
Because it's gonna delay.
Yeah, that's very annoying.
So if the sound is, can't you mute it here? Can't you mute the speaker on your computer for this room?
I don't know how to do this, I'm looking. I did not have them during the pandemic at all.
Oh, sugar. Glenn's gonna fix it.
I can't bear listening. Tell me when you're ready, Corey.
Then move down to your speaker. Press on that. Yeah. Volume. We still get a reverb? Testing, testing. All right, it's all for the most part. Teamwork to make
Okay,
the dream work.
next on the agenda is Cronin application for renovations to an existing single-family dwellings, which is in the historic district.
That's why we are here.
Make sure all your guys' languages are on, please. Only when you speak from the
Members of the commission, I'm Doug Gilpin, architect from Block Island and Charlottesville, Virginia. Joining me is
Jim Cronin, Block Island.
Jim and his wife Mary are the owners. Well, here we are, third time's hopefully the charm on this one. As you know, little procedural thing, as you know, we originally submitted for review in January, and then that had to be delayed until March, and that had to be delayed until today. So
Okay, Doug, can you let us get these things out?
absolutely, I was good.
Otherwise, we're going to be busting papers.
I was good. The first one was canceled because we didn't have a quorum.
That was in March.
That was in January.
In January.
Oh.
And then I
Oh.
came to the second, that the March one was canceled because notification, and then here we are. So bottom line is by the way, is everybody else set?
Yeah. Please
Okay.
go ahead.
The intent was to share with you the preliminary in January and then a final in March. And then that was moved March to today. We have all the information that we would hope that possibly the commission could look at this as a preliminary and final submittal. I have materials with me. You've been shared, actually 2 months ago, a complete set of the architectural drawings. I've got a complete set of the architectural drawings with me here. So let me begin and give a little background on the project. And Jim, please chime in if you have any questions. The first sheet in your packet in the booklet, SD1, gave a little synopsis of the project itself. And on sheet SD2 shows the present house in its configuration on the side. It is adjacent to the entrance of the Atlantic Inn, opposite Continental Pond. And on sheet SD3, again, it's in the book.
That's fighting it.
I've lost that.
On sheet SD3 in the booklet is showing all of the adjacent properties as required. Sheet SD4 shows photographs of neighborhood properties. SD5 is interesting because it shares with you the historic nature of the Highland House Annex. Now, for many years, the Highland House was on the site roughly where Brad and Ann Marthin's house is located. And then probably with many island hotels, they needed more space. They built a house which was called the Highland House Annex, which now is Jim and Mary Cronin's house. We have photographs of the Highland House in its glory days. Full 2-story mansard roof, wraparound porches, sunbonnet dormer on the center, and large dormers on the side. Then in, I think mid-century, mid-20th century, and I've heard 2 comments. I know Martha gave me one idea that they basically dropped the roof because they didn't need the space. And then somebody else said the roof was partially removed because of damage from a hurricane. We don't know, but bottom line is that the roof,
Doug, you're questioning what I said, Doug.
well, it could have been that they didn't need the roof after the hurricane too.
You know, my dad was part of the group that took the roof off. It was a Legion Hall. My theory is they just needed something to do on Sunday afternoon. Meryl Slate said the second floor needed too much maintenance, and that's why they lowered the roof.
Well, what's interesting is getting up in the roof, you can see that actually what they did is they lowered the upper section of the mansard roof onto the second floor of the house, extended some outriggers, and created what we have here. It is an old framed roof sitting on top of it. The bottom line is that Jim and Mary love the house. They've owned it since 2017, but would really like to have a master bedroom instead of having to use one of the old parlors on the first floor. So they came to me with the idea of creating a space upstairs, quickly reviewed the existing headroom, and I said to them, it's a no-go. At the same time, Jim and Mary don't need 1,400 square feet, and they don't want to reconstruct the second floor. So we did a happy medium. We have raised the roof pitch ever so slightly from what you see there. And also their intent is to reconstruct the character of the wraparound porches. So if you look on sheet SD 6,
What is the reference? I was just gonna open.
pardon me?
What's the reference? What's the reference on the big plans? That's what we've got here. That's what I have. On the big plan, actually, Martha, tell you what, why don't I just give you this one? SD6 is the existing plan of the house. SB7 is the second floor, or we call it the attic level of the house. And then if you turn on to the next page, Mike. This shows photographs of the existing house from pretty much the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. You can see how the roof hovers low over the large block of the house.
Looks like it lost its roof.
It looks like a long time at the porch because people didn't have anything to do on Sunday. Yes.
I think all the people who are involved with it are dead, so I can say that.
SD9 shows the first floor proposed. You can see we are beginning to show the wraparound porches on the front. There's no change on the interior.
Just tell us the page. We can.
Well, I have to turn
We're
it
capable
to
of-
tell you what it is. Okay.
SD9.
SD10 shows the proposed second floor of the house. And Mike, if you want to turn the page, I can tell you what's next.
SD11.
It's the roof.
Roof plan. SD10. And if you turn toward the back, we also have a perspective of the house as proposed. Again, that's in the large scale prints that Martha has on the floor and everybody else has. Shows, and there's the perspective of the house. And we also have, I think the very last page shows another view perspective of the house with the materials being proposed. Now, the materials being proposed are, start at the top. Architectural grade asphalt, carbonated asphalt fittings, similar to this, typically about a 50-year warranty. The chimney will have to be extended. We have a brick, which is, I call it matching a typical pressed Block Island brick of the period of late 1800s, early 1900s. For the railing of the porch, we have a thick AZEK railing. That's it around. And for the deck of the porch, we have a tongue and groove TimberTech profile simulating the character of an old tongue and groove wood.
What's the
deck.
dimension of it?
This is 3.5 inches. Typical of some of the older decks. Other details that you see, 6x6 columns, brackets where the columns meet the porch rack. If you want to look at the Atlantic Inn is a good example.
The
Jim and Terry
Atlantic Inn
like
is
to-
not a good example because there's a 4x4 columns with no chamfering and not a good example.
It's simple.
Well, somebody did it when the other columns rotted, I guess, so they,
I'm just saying from the standpoint, we're going with a simple column with a base and also the scrolled brackets at the top.
they're not shown on here though.
Yes, they are. It's on the photographs.
No, not on the drawings. There's no scroll.
That gets a little too technical from my drawing standpoint, but it is noted on the architectural drawings as well as shown in on the photographs, in the color photographs, shows the bracket that we're proposing. So all in all, the project is to raise the roof, create the character of the prior structure, though not going as tall, to utilize windows and doors, certainly reconstruct the sunbonnet dormer character on the front of the house using Anderson 400 series windows and the door. Of course, we're looking at the standpoint of ease of maintenance. So major exterior materials would be the fiberglass asphalt shingles that I showed you. Trim work would be AZEK, which is proven to be very suitable when painted on the island. And also to mention, since the property was subdivided many years prior to Jim and Mary's purchase, we're having to go through zoning because the back property line is about 18 feet off the back of the building. The setback is 40 foot. So the setback line is running right through the middle of their house. So we do have an application with getting a zoning variance for this. Any vertical or horizontal construction, we have to get a variance on the zoning.
So, but you're not, are you increasing, I'm having a little trouble following that. Are you increasing the nonconformity or only going up?
We are increasing the nonconformity by 1 foot.
Okay,
As presently there are 2 porches they do not meet. When we reconstruct the character of the original porch, those 2 porches will meet at a corner, and that corner will be 18 foot 2 inches away from the property line, roughly a foot closer.
You said you're using hardy board shingles?
We are using fiberglass asphalt shingles. That is
That's on the roof.
yes, that's
No,
on
I'm
the roof.
talking about on the side.
On the sides of the house. It's weatherboarding.
What's weatherboard?
What's weatherboarding? Horizontal weatherboarding. Clapboards.
Clapboards.
Clapboards. I mean,
In New
it's,
England, we
you're in
call
New
it-
England.
I don't know what you call them, but-
Cedar,
You're not in Virginia anymore.
using
me?
cedar, right?
we haven't decided. They will be
Well,
painted.
Well, our guidelines call for cedar.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'll check. I'm not sure about that, but
It's right here.
This is somewhat contentious, isn't it?
no,
Well, is that it?
we're happy to answer any questions.
Well, I have to tell you that Elizabeth, who's not here tonight because her profession is a historic preservation specialist. She has to go on a project in West Virginia today. But we visited the house and there's a big sign that says 1867 and we both laughed because it has no relation to 1867 and when it was built because of the roof being gone.
Yeah, that's actually when I applied for that, they consulted with, the architect of the land and the city, his name escapes me. Because he was consulting on those historic signs. He said we can't do the true historic sign, you know, the historic, they proposed a compromise, which had, you know, different wording, but it was so different than what it looked like originally.
And she sent me this. This is the same picture that you have. But she also had other pictures showing that all the buildings there had mansard roofs. And neither one of us can figure out why you don't want to put a mansard roof back on. Because what you're putting on, I realize you're a victim of your client, but what you're putting on is so busy and out of context with the neighborhood that I find it offensive. That's one, and this is my opinion. And then again, the porch would be like the, what's that, the hotel you said? Huh? The Atlantic. And as I said, those columns are just 4x4s, which are,
No, we're not looking for doing the fence.
all right, the east bathroom, according to these drawings, these drawings here, you're going to replace it with a small awning window. And you know, we've had other applicants come before us who want to do that, and we've said no. Because it's so obvious that it's there, you know, there's a beautiful double hung window there. And the state historic preservation people have said, if you want to get rid of that window, then just sheetrock behind it. And paint the sheetrock out dark and leave the window.
Well, yes, that window's in our shower and it's rotting from the water. It's weird.
I understand
having
that,
it in the
yeah.
shower.
I understand that, but that's the guideline from the state.
Right.
And the same for the west bathroom. And you have, for the dormer sidewalls, you have composite shingles.
Yes.
Why?
The price of shingles these days.
That's
quite
not
high.
our concern.
I know it isn't, but we look at that. If you gave us approval for composite, we'll be happy with it. If you don't give it for composite and we have to go with wood, we will go with that.
I think we would prefer wood
When you say composite, what are you talking about?
plastic.
No, I want them to answer, please,
A non-wood material, Martha,
which is,
which could be a fiber cement.
because we do, there is hardy board where Nix and,
It's been popping up more.
Yeah.
Uh,
In the
High
historic,
Street,
not in the historic district.
yeah,
Street,
Nix.
right across from the school, that actually is not wood shingle, just from the road, looks like it.
The
And that is that hardy board.
There are different
They,
varieties of hardy board, some shingles, some are
Yes.
tapered and some are not.
Yes, yes, you can get the hardy shingle, you can get the hardy siding, which is the
Yeah, but-
horizontal material.
We're talking about shingles.
Yeah.
Some of the shingles are tapered and another variety maybe it's,
Probably not on the hardy board, the hardy shingles.
well, and
I think they're more uniform.
don't they use them?
can you speak to that?
I was gonna ask.
And that's made by floral, and that is with the product that matches wood, but it's not,
But not
Oh,
the
the shingles
shingles.
are not.
no, it's not a shingle, it's a product.
Joe Storkus on Ocean that he just did over last summer. On the, as you pass the big on the right, I can't remember the family's name. That is all hardy board shingle. And it actually is in
that's-
3-foot pieces. It just looks exactly like shingles. That's why it's so beautiful and uniform.
It's all gray.
It's
Yeah.
all gray. I mean, you can paint it any color you want.
I
You
know,
can paint if you want. It takes paint.
but it'll never look aged and nice.
But Nix has been that way for how long?
It's been 10 years at least.
Before we worry about the shingles, don't we have to decide whether?
Yeah.
About the general design?
Sure.
Well, I walked the property myself and I gave an estimate on that job 10 years ago for the roof and to me it was just, a big hip roof, something missing. And like Doug's just did what this gentleman wanted. And it is busy, but it looks great. I mean, it's 10 times better than what you have there now, just a big old building with a hip roof, So
It doesn't even have a hip roof now. It's just a flat. Yeah.
I think, it's 10 times, the improvement is unbelievable. So, it may be busy to some of us, but to me, I think it's just fine.
When we saw the house initially, my wife showed me the picture, I said, "It's a home." It looked like a roof was just stuck up.
Yeah.
And why did you show me inside, and the stairs and the architecture and the, put on it? I said, that's a beautiful old house. I had no idea it was there. We've gone through it for 30 years. So we're looking to improve upon it, best we can. Right when I wrapped up.
You're describing something of some value. Classic old house.
That's, when you live in Connecticut, you live in a 1765 house. We moved from a 1765 house to this one, just a couple months ago, as Doug knows. We're old house aficionados. My wife used to work for this old house. So we love this house, love the integrity, I love the dirty dirt floor basement. We're just trying to bring it up to something that, you know, we have one bathroom, and two girls and my wife, and, you know, we're friends, and just, we're hoping to do something with the second floor, and I want to make sure that the town is okay with it.
I think what Arlene is trying to say is that, or perhaps has already said that, this particular design probably doesn't do justice to the integrity of the old building.
Not at all. I don't understand why you just don't want a simple mansard. Up
I think
there,
It's not as simple as, I would love to have it look like it did. Those pictures, I found those online, and the ones that Doug showed are the ones that I've been researching. I have one framed in in one of the parlors. I think when it was originally built, it probably had 4 bedrooms up there, maybe it's an annex. We don't need, there's 3 bedrooms downstairs. We have 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms. We're looking for 1 additional bathroom and 1 additional bedroom. And I'm not sure if it's even possible to bring the whole thing up. We're only raising the ceiling. I mean.
But you have all these fussy little dormers there.
Well, how much?
I think what Jim's saying is they could go with the full 2-story and reconstruct that second floor with a mansard. It would also be 1,400 square feet.
But you don't have to finish it.
They don't need 1,400 square feet or a big volume like that. We're
Good
looking at,
architect can find a way to make the best use of that space and still leave some of the space for storage or.
Right, that's what I meant when I said you don't have to finish.
This, I would think with all these dormers and corners, and it's going to be as expensive as putting on a mansard roof, or maybe even more.
When we were asking around a couple of years ago, to the numbers that have come out of builders to say, here's an old picture, what does it look like? What would it, give me a ballpark? And it was more than we bought the house for. So this is not about cost necessarily, but it is, you know, it's
Have they priced this?
I haven't gotten to that point yet. It's hard to get a ballpark.
well, we also would like to get approvals before we get too far into it.
But you as an architect don't give a cost estimate on.
I do, but at the same time, if we go with a larger volume roof and the exterior roofing materials, the windows, the doors, interior volume is cheap.
Yeah.
But you expand on the outside, more windows on the outside, greater roof areas, what Mark was saying. The other thing that we have to realize is also on this island, we have, back in 2008, we put in an ordinance about large houses. And we want to try to tell people who are buying on the island, think small instead of thinking big. Jim and Mary wanted to do that. As I said, they build 1,400 more square feet. They don't need 1,400.
This is pretty big. I mean, if you have, and it was there originally, so it's not a question of building a big house.
The house is what it is.
Right.
I'm talking about the volume of the second floor.
You're talking about the behind.
Yeah, the volume of the roof area. And we're trying to think sustainably wise, and we're trying to think globally and lower energy consumption, and why build something twice the size that they need?
This project here, the way it is probably 8 or 9 feet lower than it would be if you had.
That's
to go.
correct.
And that's massive.
As a matter of fact, very good point, Mark, because if you do the average height around the building, we are a couple feet below the maximum height that would be allowed by zoning if we were to reconstruct.
It looks more like the house on the corner of Beach and Cornet.
No,
Beach and what?
no, that house looks good.
No, that's, well, we both drive by it every day, but I think this
You mean
looks
the
more like that.
Townsquare building?
Yeah. This would,
This is
Oh,
so
that
much
reminds me of
busier.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not, I'm just making this, my reaction to it. Yeah, I would, obviously, I think we'd all really like to see the original. It does seem as if there's an awful lot more going on here. That's the, I'm not sure if you're actually achieving your goal.
Well, do we have any comments from the audience? And if not, do we have a motion?
If this was about changing the house when it was, still had its mansard, still had its second floor, I would lean more towards you, Mark and Arlene. The fact that the second floor is already gone, I lean much more towards some latitude in the design on the second floor. The original house has been lost. In the, what
But
it
it's in the
is.
original neighborhood. If you look at some of the drawing of the photos,
I agree. I
you
agree.
see several other buildings.
I know
simple
I know the
mansard.
neighborhood. I know the neighborhood, and I'm just putting this in perspective that we're not talking about modernizing and ripping up an old home. The second floor is already gone. Something does need, they bought the home, they have a right to add to the home so that it fits their family. Is it a little busy? Yes. But, you know,
What's the percentage of square footage that you're using for living space in this? What's the percentage of the second floor? Does
It's-
this design entail?
It has a bedroom.
No, percentage, not contents, not a bedroom or bathroom. What's the square footage of the building?
Okay, the first floor, let's say, is 1,400 square feet,
Okay, what's the second, what's the,
700, roughly. It's about half of the first floor,
even though there's a dormer on every side?
even though there's a dormer on every side. But you have to remember that the roof is lower,
Walls are
so we can't go all the way out to the outside. We are giving about a 5.5 to 6 foot knee wall on the inside.
That's why the dormers are.
the code is 5.5, right? It has to be 5.5.
If there's a formula, but it's for logic of furniture placement.
This
I
is
think Bill
more-
makes a valid point.
This is more than, more than just half of the first floor, this second floor. It's probably 2/3. I don't have a scale with me. Do you?
Not with me.
And I'll certainly from that,
It's nearly the whole second floor.
Right.
the first floor has wall, the second floor.
So is
Here, you can have one.
are you putting this on top of the existing first floor? You're keeping the same high ceilings in the first floor?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we're not touching.
You Keep you able to use the old staircase?
Yes. We are anticipating that pending a
Yeah.
decision by the building official.
Looking it's hard to believe that it's only half. I mean, when you look at this drawing, it's nearly the whole second floor.
But by volume.
Well, it's not.
I'm not talking about volume, I'm talking square footage.
Well, same word, there are parts of it that are taped down, where the first floor is, everything is straight walls up, you know, second floor is gonna be a lot of, without the dormers, I would be hitting my head at every turn.
Uh-huh.
So it isn't, as from a square footage perspective, I don't know the exact answer, but I can't imagine, because it's like that versus like that. So it's, I don't know what percentage, but I thought half seemed reasonable, based on the fact that. the
It's
walls-
probably 2/3.
Well, your architect said half, and it looks more like it's at least 2/3.
I'm
The knee walls all around,
That's what I'm-
the actual square footage.
Right, it's that it's not.
You're gonna have a lot of hollow spaces through those dormers. There's gonna be a lot of hollow spaces off the knee walls behind, so the actual square.
Yeah, but what height is the
usable
knee
square
wall at?
footage.
Knee wall varies in height from 5 foot in some areas to 6.5, 7, 6.5, 6'8".
I don't see that illustrated.
But there's no
Show it to you.
section.
Hold on one second. I'll find it.
There should be cross sections in the large scale plans.
If you go to if you go in your booklet to A302, the bottom diagram kind of illustrates what I'm trying to tell you about the knee walls. And that's why you're seeing more you're thinking more square footage than there actually is. That's A302 in the booklet.
Well, here's the finished.
See, we won't show it. Yeah, I'm sorry, you could, my bad.
Those stairs aren't.
Yeah, well.
That's not our issue.
But even if it's two-thirds, what they're suggesting that it's all the space, it doesn't need that much space.
Yeah, but it won't be all that space. But there's one nice dormer up front, and it looks so much better. And so much simpler.
I think we're at a point where it's down to taste. Does anybody have any other questions?
Well, let me ask one question. You said if you didn't have those dormers, you would be satisfied with that?
I think it would improve the design.
Jim, do you have any problem with that? Yeah. Jim, do you have any problem with removing the two small dormers on the front?
Let's get consensus on that before we
Yeah.
go there, because I'm not there
Consensus on what?
on removing the side dormers. Right. The side dormers on the front. So I don't know what it would look like if you took those away. In theory, it sounds right, but then I'm not sure it is.
Well, they've got these ones. And the other problem they have is with this little, morning window.
Oh, there are plenty of small windows in the historic district.
Yeah, but
Which have been approved by the HDC.
they want to take out one of the big windows and put in one of the small ones.
Where are you taking out a big window? Where are you taking out a big window?
Be on the side facing the Atlantic Inn,
Right?
actually facing a hedge.
Well, okay, just the Atlantic, on the east side.
It would be on the east side.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's gonna be in the first one.
Here.
Yes.
I'm,
These,
that's
and
That's
this,
window can
and
stay,
this
that's
one.
not, that's just, that window can stay, that's not a big deal. It's in our bathroom, I mean, it's literally in our shower.
Which is a pain, but
Yeah, but that's not,
I have one. It's a pain.
it's not, that's not special. That's not pretty good. That's fine. Appreciate that. Just trying to get a little privacy.
And we went around on this with, and I went by it today, the Hygeia, when there were some kind of big changes made over there. And at that time, I was looking at it as the design was good. It was different, but there's it wasn't as historically inaccurate as a lot of people wanted to say it was. And it looks fabulous. And I do think there's, short of complete replicating, which is what in a perfect world, of course, that's what I'd want. I don't even remember that building. I remember the roof coming down, but I don't remember the building before the roof came. That hedge has been high since before I was born. Well, we want to do the whole thing or do I do siding and massing? Well, first of all, are we doing the whole thing or are we doing siding and massing? Are we doing siding and massing or are we doing the whole thing?
You guys are requesting.
Well, I know that's what it requested. I'm asking what we're doing. And how does everybody, I just. I don't know which way we're going on this. I was just asking. I think we can do the whole thing.
I don't see any reason why you can't. do it. If we're going to approve it. That's. Yeah.
I'm inclined to let it go as is, as long as we're keeping the windows. If they were ripping the roof off to do something modern, it would be one thing, but there's nothing there. And I don't know how much you could, without an exact restoration, what are you gonna do?
You can make it simpler. This is. I like it.
Of course, I like it the way it is, but
I think it is, as you pointed out, Bill, probably.
He doesn't want a
I mean,
four-bedroom.
to me, the issue is that you drive down the street, you're gonna be happy to see it, or, you say, oh my God, was that a mistake? And that's where.
Yeah.
I think dormers on roofs look pretty. They're all over town. There's dormers on every.
Yeah, but this is Dormer City.
When you drive
Well,
down
it could
the
be
street,
Skylight
you're not gonna see
City.
it.
We have a house southwest.
Another
The window
valid
section.
point is when you do drive down the street, you're not gonna see it. It's completely covered back.
No, it isn't. You could see it. I mean, I drove down the street. It's hard to get into the driveway. And it's even harder to get out of the driveway. And the thing is, you can see it from the other buildings that are there, that from the old, whatever this is, Highland House. And then several other buildings.
Think you have to put it to a vote?
Yeah, well, I need a motion to put to a vote.
do we have all the details and everything that we need to do the final?
We have, I don't know, do we have the window sizes? I didn't. And do you want to allow the hardy, whatever it is, the fake shingles?
Well, it's all over town. We just.
But
one
not
year-
the historic district.
Yes, that's
it is.
only
Fake-
when
fake
we
shingles.
say town,
The Hygeia.
we're talking about basically,
Yeah.
Captain
Plaque.
Nick's.
no, we're talking about downtown and the historic district. Town isn't the neck. To my parlance.
The hardy shingles, and I'm just gonna take everyone back to 15 years ago, is, I understand, everybody's always has a bit of anxiety about new product. HDC wouldn't let AZAC go through 15 years ago. Your dad got a stop work order. I was doing it because we were using AZAC on. And now 15 years later, we all realize this is an incredible product that doesn't go bad, that actually saves homeowners money so that they can maintain these historic homes. So the hardy board, it looks fantastic. You've driven by it and you didn't even know the
It's proven.
difference. It's proven. It is a good product.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's not go down the neck.
Captain Nix.
just taking everyone on a little history of new products, and I understand everybody has a little bit of anxiety about it. This stuff is so good, at 10 feet, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, both have been painted. Want to make a motion, Mark?
Yeah, I make a motion on plot 8, lot 255, on High Street. For the building that exists, the roofs.
What are you looking for?
And to remove the existing hip roof and replace it with, what's here on the files. Dormers on, I don't have my papers. As it's presented by Mr. Gilpin or Mr. Cronin. As presented.
I'll second that and add some findings of fact. It is the house is originally a late 19th century house.
1867.
18, is that? Those dates are always a little fungible. From the, it was annexed to the original Highland House. The house has over time been radically altered. In the mid 20th century, the second floor was taken off and it went from a Victorian hotel to a rather minimalist structure, residential structure. And the finding is that it is in the historic district. It was a significant building. It is significant historically. It is not so much architecturally anymore. And the proposal is fundamentally in keeping with an island vernacular. It is not a replica of an old building, and it's appropriate to the site.
I would like to amend it to say that the windows, this cannot be replaced by little windows, little awning windows.
It would
No,
have to be,
that's all part of this.
well, it has to be, the amendment has to be, I don't agree with the amendment, but I like little windows. What would the boathouse buildings be look like without little windows?
All right, so it's
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Opposed? Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah. You have any other questions? Majority.
It's majority.
And it's
no.
not Sony.
So, this is a question. Okay, never mind.
Our next is Island Enterprises, the Spring House Hotel, to demolish the existing tent structure and replace it with a wedding pavilion. My concern here is, I've eaten in that tent structure in the wind many times, and I can understand why you want to enclose it, but.
Frank's actually brought a couple pictures of what's happening.
Right, I know. My question is, this building, before I was born, had a lot of approvals from the state historic district. And I don't know how this impacts.
Completely understood. Wanted to start, you want to start with the neighborhood. Want to start here? Alright. We wanted to start with the neighborhood. We want to start with you guys. We want to see what your consensus is. Then, once we get there, I'll be off to see State Historic. Completely
Okay.
understood that even if you said, yeah, we love it, I have to go to them.
That was my concern. Thank you.
Is this building, you want to start? You got, this structure, it's not attached to the existing building.
It is attached to the porch. I mean, I can point. I'll get a little.
Here, yeah. Here's the existing footprint.
So this is the porch on the front of that rear portion of the hotel.
Yeah.
It touches there. But what I've done, the tent today goes all the way up to this corner.
Yeah.
I pulled it back so that it re-exposes.
I think,
The other thing we're doing. The other thing we're doing is we're excavating so that this floor is gonna sit 4 to 5 feet down. So that the roof line is pulled further down to again minimize its appearance when you look up the hill.
I think it's an improvement.
Yeah, I think it's very nice. Are you gonna open those doors in the nice weather or? Yeah.
That would be the idea,
Yeah.
yes. And they'll be able to clean,
What?
we'll be able to clean them nice as well. Oh, you don't like those kind of dingy plastic? The isinglass is very.
Taking on a summer hire for that.
Squeegee.
So you're basically,
We're maintaining roughly the same footprint, but I am sliding it to the side so that we re-expose the original hotel building.
so you're like taking the sunroom and making it lots bigger and lots nicer.
Kind of.
Go, not
The other thing, there is a small other additional item in here. If you look at the photographs, the end of the original veranda never went to the back of the building. It's kind of lopsided when you look at the end of the building, and there's this little kind of tent cover to make it
Yeah.
usable. I'm proposing that we replicate and wrap so that that becomes
Wrap the porch
completely,
around.
right.
Where's your dad?
We don't ask that question
Good.
He's the man.
Yeah, this is kind of exciting.
Oh, I think, one, it's critical to the long-term viability
Yeah.
of the facility.
That's not our.
Court, well, it is because it helps protect the main building.
Yeah.
I think it looks
And I
very-
think it's actually gonna look a lot nicer than that.
That's how
Carbuncle.
they introduced that.
Yeah.
Do I have any motions that,
What about materials? Windows?
well, this would be.
This is
preliminary.
just preliminary.
Oh, this is preliminary.
Yeah, so assuming that you guys are happy with this direction, I will then go to the state and I will be back in a month or two with final stuff.
So the motion we're looking for is to.
Citing and massing, I guess.
It's for citing and massing.
I move that we approve the application by Island Enterprises for plat 8.84 dash 6. For siding and massing.
I don't know if,
As
does
proposed.
Yes.
anybody want to second that?
I second.
What are we calling?
What are we calling this?
Pavilion.
Pavilion.
That's not on here. This is.
Yeah, I know. I just realized I had these.
And this is all pending you going to the state?
Yes,
Okay.
Have you had any conversations with them yet?
no, not yet.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Very good, thank you. We'll see
you,
you
Gwen.
all in a few months.
Okay, next up. Oh, you're still.
Oh, he's your guy now.
Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
poor Doug again. What's the horizontal composite siding?
It is probably going to be a hardy planks type siding on it. All set? Again, Doug Gilpin, Block Island.
Since 1998, bought Peggy Manley's house up on Spring Street and up there since. And as you probably know, we worked out an arrangement where I traded my house for Robbie Murphy's ex-Robbie
I
Murphy.
didn't know that.
And now I'm in the process working with Doug, to make it very, very attractive, change the whole aspect of that building.
What's the intention or the first floor?
The first floor is going to be a coffee shop similar to what we had over above Poor People's Pub, which was called the Crack Mug.
Yeah.
Very similar. It wasn't very conducive for a coffee shop up there, even though it was zoned for it. Parking was horrible. The situation was bad. Ended up selling that.
Right.
And moving on. So knowing that Cindy's not going to no longer be using her facility. So I think it's kind
You'll
of,
have some of the same services.
sorry.
You'll have some of the same services,
Yeah. I'm
like
sorry.
takeout lunch.
I'm not sure exactly what extent, but start with, but and then
I know it doesn't have anything
and then
to do
the
with what
second
we're doing
floor-
here, but it's nice to know.
We want to know.
oh, as soon as I know, you'll know, Martha. And the second floor would be for my housing.
Oh, for your house.
Yeah, because I sold my house. So
He doesn't like sleeping in the garage.
no, or outside.
So I have to ask the question, did you use a compass when you labeled these?
Yes.
You did, okay. The building actually faces north, not east?
It actually faces north, northeast.
Northeast or east, northeast?
I double checked on Google Earth and everything else, so it is a bit of a.
Those directions make me crazy. If I get off the mansion road, I don't know what direction it is.
Shall I begin the general presentation?
Yes.
All right. Once again, like the similar one, HDC 2 page is an overall description of the project. HDC 3 page shows the aerial view of subject property in the center. HDC 4 page, the upper left-hand corner. Give you a little background, the structure was built, the original core was 1933, it was a concrete block structure. And you can see it with my dimensions in the upper left-hand area. It was a 32-foot 8 by 20-foot deep concrete block structure with a very low slope roof you see at present. Sometime later, not sure exactly when, probably post-war, it was expanded to the present 36-foot 6 by 28-foot 6 deep size, adding an additional larger bay on the side and expanding for storage area on the rear. The upper left corner on page HDC 4 shows the general layout that Bobby is looking at, having a dining kitchen area on the left side, dining area, more of a, I'll call it secluded dining area on the right, ADA restroom and a storage prep area. There's an existing door on the back of the building. And as also Bobby said, this is going to be his private permanent residence on the second floor. So right now, the concrete block goes up to about 12 feet and has a low slope roof. We're going to start off with that 12-foot height. We can only go up 30 feet. That is the maximum in this service commercial district. We can only go up 30 feet. We're going to go up very simple 8-foot high pre-cut studs and then a pitch roof that keeps it under the 30-foot maximum height. For reference, and if you turn to sheet the 7, which shows adjacent properties. The present hardware store to the left of the subject property is actually higher than what Bobby Kenny's structure will be. From the standpoint of acceptability to get from the first floor to the second floor, we're proposing an exterior stair with a roof over it, protection from the stair. And if you turn to HDC 5, at present time, the building is sort of a mixture of various materials. We have concrete block on the original section, and then slam down comes right to it. There is wood shingle siding, which doesn't necessarily meet in a good way in certain areas. And the intent is to reskin the building with the horizontal siding to keep more of that linear look to it. Again, this is the service commercial area. Simple linear look on the exterior. Bobby is considering a stone veneer on the lower section. I've included photographs of what's called Eldorado stone, which is one of the better stone veneer companies, which has a stone which is very similar to a block iron, round block iron stone. You can also see that we are removing the front gas pump, what we call it, canopy, and replacing it with a two-story or a deck on the upper level and small shed roofs that will be over the lower area entrances of the building for the patrons coming into the first floor spaces. Existing windows are wood double hung. They're in serviceable condition. They will be retained on the first floor. Some of them are dating to the expansion of the garage. Other ones have been replaced within the last, I'd say, 15 years.
Are they 8/8s?
They are presently 8/8s. That is correct, Bill. Mike, 8/8s. There are some 4/4s on the side of the building underneath the stairwell. The second floor would have similar. Mark.
If I may, the original, okay, not the part that's now not the garage part, the other part on the, as you're facing the building on the left, the first floor,
Yes.
that currently is block?
Yeah.
Concrete block all the way from the roof, all the way down.
The whole building.
If you.
Right, okay, so,
If you look on,
yeah, I'm looking at it. I just wanted to be sure that was right. So that's the part that you were talking about refacing?
correct.
Did you think at all about just keeping it?
We had talked about it, but it's disjointed because when they added on to the side of the building, they cut back sections of the wall. You can see it on HD 6, the lower.
Right, I think that building, part of that building came down.
Well,
Somebody has pictures of it. It was a bad wind and I was always told it had no give.
Well, somebody expanded it.
yeah, they expanded so they could put a modern cars in there because they put a new
Well,
lift system in there.
Yeah,
But I mean, you can actually see where they, on the floor, where they joined the concrete. Now, Andy Transu showed me some pictures and I believe that was
I think I've
before the
got that one.
expansion. When he had his little rental slash barber shop.
yeah, I have
slash
one with
candy shop there.
with the ballards. Did you have that in here somewhere?
Sorry?
One with, when the ballards had it?
I do not know.
Oh,
No, the Dallas built it in the 30s.
But you're leaving the concrete block on the east side.
We're leaving it on the east side.
But you're putting siding over it.
No,
No?
no.
maybe, maybe not.
Oh.
Let's see, I'm
Here's a
sorry.
picture of it.
Oh,
I just want to be
underneath the
sure. I got
stairway,
this
you're
right.
leaving the block.
Under the stairway, inside the faces, the
Part-
fence that faces.
Hardware.
The back door.
You're leaving the block there.
That's correct.
It's more uniform too. It's original.
On the top drawing, the north, on 6, I guess it's 5.
It is northeast, by the way. Checked
The
it.
roof overhang, you have a note on there, some dotted lines. What does all that mean?
That's
I'm
for,
sorry, I didn't understand your question.
that's for the stair.
The,
Oh, roof over, that's going to be a roof over the stairway.
So in case of weather,
I see.
I didn't want to go it so dark, people might get confused. I want to keep it simple, showing where that profile would be.
Okay.
I thought you bought that for the man cave garage.
yeah, me and my dogs.
And on that same drawing, half of the front shows horizontal side and the other looks like stone or something. Why the difference?
Well, first of all, to about that high, we would be putting it there.
Yeah,
And then from there on up, we're going to be putting on new siding.
putting what?
New siding going all the way up.
Okay.
Why
But
not?
why are you showing this sort of the scribbly look on the left side of the drawing?
Very simple. I prepared the drawings, we were ready to submit. Bobby said, "Can we put horizontal siding on it, quickly do it in?" And so I could make the deadline to get it to you.
Okay, so,
If you saw the building, you can see where they added windows, they added a door.
Yeah,
It's just all over the.
but
You know
the
what,
the whole
instead-
front is going to be horizontal, is that correct?
instead of putting the stone veneer there, just leave the concrete and planters there
Yeah.
or something.
It's not in great shape, but
What? We raised a raised planter, you know,
Just improve it, Len.
that would look a lot better than that stone.
you think so?
Yeah,
I don't like
I
the
think,
stone.
no, you don't like the stone? Because a lot of the old foundations, that's what I was trying to pick up.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah. I
Kinda
think
blend
so.
in. Wow.
What would make a plan?
I feel that.
can make them out of wood, out of 6x6, you know,
Yeah, but this is what
Or-
everybody forgets.
Huh?
Look downtown at the old foundations of Lazy Fish, the Star Department, the Harbor Church, the front part, the church itself proper. And they're just painted concrete. And everybody sort of forgets that.
If you're painting the concrete, what are you really seeing then?
You don't, that's the point.
Right, so why not put something nice? like
You
the
don't
stone?
notice, you don't notice it. It's not,
it'll save you a lot of money
A lot
not
of times
putting,
they look like block iron stone.
right.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
It looks kind of like New York City.
No,
Or
not
or
New
worse,
York City.
Watch
No, it
Hill.
looks,
No, no New York City here.
Mark on the last page.
Yeah, I saw it.
Photograph of the sun.
yeah, that's, one of my neighbors did that. And it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
not the,
So, did you do Rubano up on Spring Street? Is this the same?
No, I'm not.
No, that one's not yours. Okay.
the need wagon seals?
This
You
looks
talking
like
about wagon
Rubano.
seals down there?
No, no,
They did with building.
Bird's house.
Oh, 'cause I caretake the wagon seals.
Oh,
And I wave to you when I drive by.
oh, okay. My dog barks at you, probably.
Yes, he does. And my dogs don't bark, they howl.
Yeah.
I'm
But see, on
sure
the-
everyone knows my dogs inside.
On the side, you have the block and on the side and on the back, you have the block.
Save a little bit of money.
Yeah, but you know, if you put a little plant, it would look a lot.
Oh, I
more
love plants.
inviting.
Have you seen what I've done over there?
I saw all the equipment there.
Yeah, well, when I
Oh,
had,
you have to bring in water, right? You have water?
oh, no, I have town water, sewer,
Oh.
town sewer, town, so
Oh,
yeah, the
okay.
tanks, actually, everybody had this misconception. The tanks have been out of there for 10 years. I had another phase one done, which a phase one was done maybe 10 years ago. It passed then, but they maybe spend another $3,000 into the phase one, passed with flying colors, and the DEM actually stopped testing of the test holes. They're all good with it. Everything's good over there.
Good. That was a gamble.
Well, it wasn't really for me because I knew when I solicited before I made the offer, I did my research and they did a lot of work already over there. They removed the tanks, they had DEM. What I actually did is I hired the person from DEM who had retired, who specialized in gas stations. I hired them to come and go to Providence and do the research for me because I didn't want to get into a quagmire and have contaminated soil. So he went up there, did a research, and he said, no, this has all been approved, it's done, everything's good there. Yeah.
The board fence, what's that gonna be?
Where's that?
Board fence in front of the stairs.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna be
Yeah, it's
shadow
gonna be
box.
similar, it's gonna be similar to what I put over in my house on Spring Street. It's kind of, I guess, very kind of similar to Captain Nick's. but
Like a
only different.
stockade fence?
No.
Oh.
Stockade. Now you're talking New York.
I would recommend the board, plain board fence.
Yeah, with
With
cedar.
a cap on.
That's what I have over there
Yeah.
in my house. Yeah, a little different than Captain Nick's.
Again, this is service commercial district.
And will it be natural or?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm all about that. Yeah, I want, when people drive out, they're gonna say, wow, that's my deal. And I'm moving-
Now,
I'm
I
working
have
with-
to ask my committee, because I don't know what the stance is on the railing material, the cable railing. How is?
We've done it before.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot.
I like it, but I don't know.
The reason why I'm going with it is because I do have distant views.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna block the views, so that's why I'm going with the cable. Because,
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of marsh views and you can see the water. And if you notice those dead trees, ever since they put that sidewalk in, those trees are all dead, so.
This is an example, photograph taken today. Cable rail system that I'm proposing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
we've
it.
seen-
But Mark Tilson wouldn't let me do it on my house because he said kids can climb up the rails.
Well, actually,
What can't they climb on?
the code changed. since then. Code has
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
They did not allow the letter type.
It's probably in keeping with the building that you're doing.
Yeah, it was 1940s, this building.
Yeah, I mean, besides everything else, this is my house and I have a reputation out here. I'd like to do things right way, nice.
Now, what's this seems to be like something in between the floors, Doug. What's that?
At present, you probably noticed, there's a little crown mold cornice around the building. Replicating that, carrying it around, then at least breaks the house or the structure.
Oh, so you're gonna have that? That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna,
It's a little bit of a break. It
Yeah.
carries that character of the cornice wrapped around.
I really wanted to keep the existing roof, but the expand was long. Because just the material cost bringing it to the dump is gonna be outrageous.
You might want to check, Doug, with the building official because the Finn's building and another little building that we worked on, they don't like mechanicals under the egress stair.
These will be heat pumps,
I-
they're not.
I know, but they're,
Gas venting device.
well, still, I would
Yeah,
check.
we'll check with them, of course.
Yeah.
We don't wanna get something going.
If it needs to be moved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do that.
that's just an aside
It
here.
just tucks away nice and it's easy to service where we have it drawn up now.
Do I have a motion, any motion or any other comments or?
Again, ideally, it would be great if we could review this preliminary and final. We are going to zoning because the building, as you can imagine, is a substandard lot of record. It is, I think, what, 20-some feet off of the rear.
I'm 3
property
feet
line.
6 inches.
That's all shown on there.
Yeah,
So we are
3 feet 6 inches. Here's your zoning.
You sure?
Imagine that.
Well, you can't go vertical. We're not changing the back footprint of the building at all. Because we're going vertically within the setback.
Okay, but you've got a, just a porch sticking out in the front.
That's what the porch does stick out in the front. However, that is not in the setback. It is not.
I don't care about the setback.
It's replacing the existing one, Martha, the one that's there now.
No, the upper floor.
Yes.
There's no upper floor porch.
It's a roof right
There's just that dumb roof that replaced
Yeah, but still.
what was a
covered.
very standard,
Yeah.
old fashioned gas station that you see in movies from the 40s.
Gas and.
Yeah, thank you.
Great Gatsby.
It was great. It was too bad. But at least it's gone, so I can't whine about you taking it down. My question though is, it looks like you've got a post coming down, a support post for the porch. It's right in the middle of the door.
Well, it's out from it.
From the street.
Well,
it
yeah, I
looks like
know,
it
but
is.
12 feet out.
is it's 12 feet?
Yeah.
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 yeah,
And I guess as you're
12
driving by, of course, you won't really It'll always be.
It's basically replacing the one that's there now.
And the new windows are gonna be
Yeah, but no.
Andersons with the,
Yeah.
Again, it'll be 400, through buttons, both sides, spacer bars in between. And
we're going to need, and this is because we have another project where we don't have this information. We're gonna need a window schedule from you as part of the approval process.
I have, not with me, but I have.
Okay,
So shall we make a motion for, since we don't have a window schedule, at least having in Massey? I'm just,
Yeah.
we can't do anything without the window schedule.
well, we can,
I could have the window schedule tomorrow.
we can
It's
approve the whole thing pending the windows,
Okay,
window schedule.
all right,
What do
that's
you
fine
think?
with me. That's even better.
Window and doors, you know, I mean, you know,
Absolutely.
I'll make the motion to approve the application for McGinnis Cole LLC, plot 6, lot 36. For the renovation of Ballard's gas station as proposed in the application.
One thing, when we did this application, I did not own the property. That's why we used McGinnis Cole. I do own the property now.
congratulations.
Thank you. So it will
I'm
be.
just
Rob-
reading from the application.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, no sooner had the application been filed that
we had to
they
close
said,
it.
we're gonna close.
So just wanted, okay.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? What, the-
Aye.
with pending, you said pending the window schedule.
Correct.
Right. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm
And-
sure you're gonna see a really nice.
Okay, we're not, but this was with, this was without,
Look forward.
this was without the stone veneer, right?
Without the stone veneer, yeah.
Okay.
I bet you McGinnis is putting.
That was not what I
We're
proposed.
gonna use your property. for-
Well, what did we vote?
Wait a minute, that's not.
Okay,
that's
okay,
not what
that's
I
not,
proposed.
that's why I'm asking.
You
Is it-
want the stone?
That was not my, what,
If that, I was just asking, that wasn't your intent.
I beg your pardon, that was not my intent,
So you want stone?
yes.
Oh, Mike.
I mean,
I like the stone. I think it was classic.
nobody wants to stop? Huh?
Go look at,
You can catch me on the beach with my dog.
when you go to
Okay.
Wagon Seals, go look at hers.
Let, let me modify it then.
I'm like, what?
No. Nobody wants the stone. I
Yeah.
will agree to no stone.
No stone, okay. Leaves no stone unturned,
No stone unturned?
right, no stone.
No stuff.
When you go to Wagon Seals next time, go to Bird's house.
Yep.
And he's got that river stuff on it. Okay, not doing well.
Is it 5-0?
Correct.
Yes.
Bob Peavy's all excited, so can I read this?
I'm sorry.
Peavy's all excited about what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
But can I, can I do this?
Yeah, you're right.
It's gonna be. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, see you. Stop by tomorrow. Don't bring any stone. Thank you.
Good night.
Hello, folks. Bill Lambert, representing for Stanley Nazio. I was here last year. You gave me approval for the back deck. I tried for the front deck and we talked about our handrails. They couldn't make up their mind at the time about handrails. They finally came to a decision. They don't want no handrails on the front porch. Basically, what you have in front of you is a picture of the front. Has already existed roof over the port, over the existing set of steps that goes up. That will be stay the same. The roof line is all gonna stay the same. Nothing's gonna be changed on the roof line. The only thing I'm doing is expanding both sides of the steps. So it's all one large deck in the front, 8 foot by, I think it's 51 or 52 feet.
We'll have roof over it also.
No, just what you see there, that's the only place that will have the,
And will the existing handrails stay?
no. Because on the right and the left side of it, we want to utilize the whole deck. So, but
How high is this deck above ground?
the highest point was 27 inches off the ground on the corner of the building. If you're looking at the house, to the right side down to the ground.
Is that code?
According to what I was told,
I thought it was
by
18
Tom this afternoon, as long as I stay under 32 inches, I don't need rail, or 30 inches, I figured it
Yeah,
said
30.
30 inches, I don't need handrails. And I think that was one of the discussions last year too. I think the lady there mentioned it, the same thing. I'm so many inches on the code, I don't need railings. And the girls with their mother had issues with their mother last year, it just got kind of lost. And they finally came to a decision, the two sisters, to no railings.
So there'll be a deck with no, this rail won't be in front of.
Well, that would be the option. If you want to leave it, we can leave it. If you want to take it down, we can take it down. It doesn't. The only thing would be the right side and the left side as you walk up on
It'll
that.
just be a platform.
It'd just be one platform. The only thing I'm doing is just going over the over the cement.
I would think it ought to
With
come
wood.
down.
One level.
Yeah, so it's all
And
stays.
no roof.
The only roof that's gonna be is the existing roof that's there.
Right.
I don't wanna tear that off.
Yeah, well, you leave the rail in the front, I mean, right, was there.
No, you could take it, you could take it off.
Yeah, but it's just.
And we talked about probably possibly, dressing up the front for a column, because it's just a 2-inch pipe. So I was just thinking about probably doing like a 5x5 column, just to dress it up, the 4 pipes.
That would be nice.
Instead of leaving it like a piece of pipe. And Stanley said, yeah, I want to walk back, Father, put my flags up.
Do I have a motion? Or is there questions?
So you're basically just extending the deck to along the entire front of the building.
Yeah, the whole front.
No rails.
Yeah.
15 feet, 6 on one side, 15 feet on the other side.
Just easier to say that along the front of the building.
Yeah, but I just,
Are you changing materials on the deck?
only thing's gonna be changed, because it's a one big cement set of steps and slab. I'm gonna go over that with the decking, which I'm using the same decking I used on the deck in the back. And I'm gonna do what they call picture framing, so it's actually gonna look, when you're standing there, it almost looks like 3 separate decks. But it's called picture framing, so you don't see no ends of the boards at the end of the deck,
But the only steps are gonna be the ones that are there.
just what's there. And just gonna dress them up to match the code.
I'm fine with it.
Gonna lose the question.
Yeah. Well, they were talking to now, probably, they asked me nicely if I could take I'm not a landscaper or a nurse, work in a nursery, but dig them out and probably move them out in front from where they are, put them in front of the deck. and we'll throw
There
them
are
in.
something new.
Yeah,
You have a green thumb?
I don't have a green thumb. There used to be an apple tree right up against the house. I finally got a chance to cut that now.
To make a motion on plot 7, lot 50, 370, 337 High Street, to construct a porch coming off of the middle section. Size is,
15 and 15, so
15, 56, with no handrails. I'm gonna put it in that you're going to put 5x5 posts around the pipes. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes it look more boxier and more within the historic district. Materials, it's gonna be picture framed, and what's the materials? Trex. Picture frame Trex. They don't see the outside butt ends of the board or the Trex. And that's it.
They're gonna have lattice underneath it after, it's only gonna be that much, no leaves can, stuff like that.
How lattice underneath.
And then,
Yeah.
and Mark, you said on the size, you said about the 1550. That's only gonna be 8 feet from the house, off the house. So it's 18, so
15 feet, but 8, so it's not the same width as the one that's there.
the same width.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8. Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
Thank you.
I would suggest that we postpone our new business, which is the approval of the minutes and the and the
You have a minute?
and the historic district guidelines till next month.
I second.
Well, we have to wait.
Oh,
We should let her.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have the minutes?
We got them emailed.
yeah, I don't even know. You want me to text you a version?
Yeah, but we have to wait for her to stop talking. So. I want to adjourn.
No, well, motion for the minutes, right?
Yeah.
Baby.
She is a handful. Bam Bam. She is so big. She's in 3 feet clothes. She's just turning 15 months.
Yeah, Corey, can we adjourn? Because we need you to listen to us. Yeah, yeah. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Yeah,
Right now.
yeah. I call Marty the one man party.
One of them bikes that.
Oh, without the wheels.
Without the pedal.
Without the pedals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We go to toddler time with him all the time. He's hilarious. He's a good little kid though. Like if Izzy falls, he picks her up. Henny, Karina's kid too. He's very, very respectful little man. But freaking Artie, man. I call him Artie the one man party because he comes into toddler time in the freaking gymnasium and he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. Izzy'll stop. Not Artie. Go. Pretty freaking close. We're into 3T close now.
She got height on her, I hope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's just hot. She's bigger than Artie. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is she as tall as the table?
Oh, yeah. Easily. Yeah, well, hold on, let me think. Here's my groin. Yeah, she is right about table height because she comes running at me full speed. I was gonna say, she did not like that one. Sorry.
Sorry,